All right, Kiki, now is your time to shine. Give us all of the lore.
The way I am so excited for this. Okay, everybody, welcome. Okay, I'm going to be going over some lore for the Elder Scrolls because it is my ambition that one day Akane will be as obsessed with it as I am. So,
All right.
for those of you who are listening who are already really big into the Elder Scrolls, forgive me, I'm not a scholar. Okay? I'm a casual fan. Cash fan.
Cash.
Hi, it's me, Cash fan Kiki. Um, but I hope to shed some light and funsies upon this stuff. Okay, I'll start by asking, do you know much about the Elder Scrolls at all? What do you
I
know?
know, nothing. I'm pretty sure you had me make some decisions while you did a playthrough once, and you were like, we need a name for the character. What's the thing to your left? And I was doing laundry, so the character's name was Pants.
I remember Pants.
But
One
yeah,
day
that's
we'll
about it.
resurrect Pants and have some fun. But okay, well, it's a good starting place, especially for Oblivion, because that energy basically flows throughout the entirety of the game.
Wonderful.
But so Oblivion takes place in Tamriel, which is a continent on the planet of Nirn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just about every single game in the Elder Scrolls series, besides like the Elder Scrolls Online, which is kind of like all encompassing, and I don't really dabble too heavy in the Elder Scrolls Online because MMOs scare me. Anyway, that's a different
Fair,
thing.
fair, fair.
Um, Cyrodiil is the country inside of which we are playing when we are playing Oblivion. Okay. And Oblivion takes place shortly after Morrowind, which is home of the Dunmer people.
Okay.
And Cyrodiil is the home of the Imperial citizens. Okay. Now,
Okay.
here's your history lesson.
Mm-hmm.
A big facet of Elder Scrolls lore, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's a fact of the lore, is fantasy racism.
Fantasy racism. It's in
And we're
all of
not
it.
okay with it, but it's a plot
Not
device.
okay.
That is just a fact of the matter.
Not okay.
So, the citizens of the Imperial, well, I guess the Empire, the Imperials, a part of the Empire, they live in Cyrodiil. We're playing in Cyrodiil, okay?
Uh-huh.
Cyrodiil, especially in Skyrim, later becomes like this force where they're trying to build their empire by conquering other lands. And
Ah.
that's the whole,
So Britain. Got
well,
it.
one of the huge, yeah, kind of, well, no, it's Rome.
Ah,
Cyrodiil
Rome.
is heavily based on ancient Rome. This is my
Got it.
Oblivion is my
Got it.
Roman Empire. And by Roman Empire, I
Ah.
don't think about the Roman Empire. I think about Oblivion. I think about
Got it.
Cyrodiil.
Understood.
I could get into the politics of Skyrim in a whole different video, but that's a different game. But for now, we're in Cyrodiil, and Cyrodiil is Motherland, and that is where we play. Cyrodiil is home to many, many different races. Unlike Skyrim, when you play, you get a healthy mix of like mostly Nords and then other races. When you're playing Oblivion, I feel like while the scale is tipped heavily in favor of Imperials because it's their native land, it really is a melting pot. There's a lot of diversity in Cyrodiil. So I'm gonna go over some of the races with you, okay? Starting off with number one, we've got the Nords, okay? The Nords live in Skyrim, and I'll give you two guesses what IRL race they're based off of.
Sorry, there was a question there. What was the information you're giving me? One more time. Sorry. I was listening. I was not listening actively.
I love you so much. I love when my questions are met with deafening silence. It really makes me feel like a clear teacher.
Repeat the question one more time.
No, you're good. The first race we're going to be talking about are the Nords. Care to guess what real race they're based off of?
The Nords? The Norse?
Yep. The Norse people. And
the Nords.
Nords. The Nords reside in Skyrim. That's where they're from, and a lot of their history and culture is based heavily upon Nordic history, culture, mythos. In fact, one of the main enemies that you find everywhere, all over Skyrim, are Draugr, which are traditionally a Norse myth, right?
Okay.
And they are very proud of their heritage. They are very patriotic. And so a big facet of the game Skyrim is like a civil war, but civil war is kind of loose for it. Basically, the Empire has started taking hold in Skyrim, and a big group of the natives of Skyrim, the Nordic people, are fighting back, right? But there are all kinds of different motives for this. For example, the Empire's there to kind of stave off the High Elves, the Altari Dominion, and one could argue that the Empire's influence in Skyrim is the only thing keeping the High Elves from invading and erasing the Nords' history altogether, but that's an argument for another time. Let's see here. So that is the Nords. Let's move on to the Imperials. The Imperials live in Cyrodiil, based heavily off of the Roman Empire.
Ah, yes.
And they're like an empire. They have a emperor who you will meet here shortly if we ever get Oblivion to work. And they're very geared towards glory. They worship the 9/8 divines, which it's for the sake of clarity, we'll just talk about the 8 divines because there's only going to be 8, I believe, when you play. I can't remember. Is there only 8 or 9 when you're in Oblivion? Is the 9th there yet? In Skyrim, that's one of the big things. All the Nords worship the 9 divines, whereas the Empire only worships 8. They don't believe in Talos. But I can't believe if Talos...
They don't believe in Talos?
...is in the...
I believe
they
in
don't
Talos.
believe in Talos.
He can do it. I believe in you.
Talos believes in... He really does. Let's see here. What else am I needing to know about the Imperials that will help you? I really like the Imperials. Most of the times when I play Elder Scrolls games, I'm an Imperial, and before you come after me, I was introduced to the Elder Scrolls in Oblivion. Cyrodiil is my home. And so even in Skyrim, where it's a little controversial to be an Imperial, I still play as an Imperial because they're my people.
Got it.
It's the center. Cyrodiil is the center of the continent of Tamriel, right? And so they kind of spread outward in their, for lack of a better word, conquering. And seat of the Empire, very glorious, very rich history, and like pretty cities. I really like the city building in Oblivion. They could be bigger, as is my complaint with both Oblivion and Skyrim, but whatever. But yeah, let's see here. And they are pretty central in a lot of the Elder Scrolls games because they're the seat of an empire, which is kind of digging its little fingies into all over the place.
Yep.
Let's see here. And the culture is pretty prevalent as well. Their religion with their 8 divines, yeah, it is the 8 divines. It's pretty widely recognized, but they are very sticklers about only the 8, and they get pretty upset if you are the kind of person who digs into the 9. Okay, so that is the Imperials and the Nords. Do you want to learn about the Khajiit, or do you want to learn about, let's see here, the Orcs? I'll let you pick.
Let's start with the Khajiit.
Ooh, fun choice. Khajiit has wares if you have coin. So the Khajiit are, listen to me. Imagine that I'm gripping you by the throat right now. They are not furries. Not furries, okay? They are giant bipedal cat people. They are not furries.
Tabaskis. Isn't that what they're called in D&D? Like a Tabaski?
Yeah, I think something along those lines.
Something like that.
Elder Scrolls does draw very heavily upon the D&D kind of world. But yeah, they're Khajiit. They come from elsewhere. They're a feline race. But that being said, they're kind of wanderers. Their home, the place that they have been like restricted to is their, I guess, their homeland. Elsewhere, it's kind of in a far corner of the map.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a pretty harsh environment. It's really dry. Um, and for the most part, especially in the game of Skyrim, the Khajiit are kind of like traveling merchants.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome. Um, they get a bad
Pretty
rap as being
cool.
involved in the skooma trade. Here's your
Skooma.
first vocabulary word. Jot this down. Skooma.
Notes.
It is Elder Scrolls Kush. It is a drug.
Skooma.
There are a couple
Skooma
of
is
drugs
the drugs. Got
yeah,
it.
skooma is drug.
Drug.
So they get a bad rap as being involved in the skooma trade, but that is just that's profiling. We don't believe in that.
We don't believe in profiling.
They have been living in Tamriel for a pretty long time. They've been there longer than men and elves.
Mm-hmm.
But they've just kind of been pushed.
Push.
Here.
Push.
Yeah. So they are also so they're what they look like is kind of based on the phases of the moon. They worship like the heavens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have different forms of like appearance. Like they can be short hair, long hair, orange. They're cats, right?
They're cats. Cat girls are ruining my life.
But now here's where you need to stick with me.
Okay.
There are Khajiit who look like exactly like a house cat. Okay. But they are still sentient. We don't
Like
judge.
they're
They
small.
are
All fours.
yes.
But
Please
not
hold all
pet.
questions to the end.
Okay. Okay.
Correct. So they can either be like a humanoid cat, like a cat girl, but like they are a cat. They don't have like just like a human face with ears and
Like
tail
Hello
and
Kitty.
tits. Not that kind of cat girl. Biblically accurate Hello Kitty.
Biblically accurate Hello Kitty. Got it.
But they also look just like normal house cats as well, just depending on what phase of the moon they are born into. And we love them all.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. So if the house cat
Anyway.
starts talking, it's a Khajiit.
It's a Khajiit. Yes. Any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
Not right now.
I hope you're taking notes. There will be a test at the end of all this. Next, we have the orcs, okay? Or the Orismer. They don't have their own, like, hometown in Tamriel, I guess. Like, homeland. They are nomadic, and they set up, like, strongholds, I guess is a good word, all over Tamriel. And they are very, I don't want to say like tribal, but they are like very, very family and tribe oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Fascinating.
Yes. They are, I think, and this is one of those situations where please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Like I said, I'm just a hobbyist. I'm not a scholar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they're a matriarchal society.
Ooh.
Or either they're matriarchal or they're like a mix of matriarchy and patriarchy, and the men have to kill each other for dominance.
Hold on.
They're all about. Listen, hey, stay with me. I'm losing you. Clear. Are you back? The reason that they have to kill each other for dominance is not because they're like overly aggressive. Like there is aggression as a part of it, but it's like they are very honor bound, and they do not want to become old and invalid. They would rather die in their prime than like of old age. Does that make sense?
In the context of this is what they are, yes. Logically, no.
You can't
No.
empathize, but you can sympathize.
I can understand the words coming out of your mouth. I do not understand the reasoning behind it.
That's just fine. That's just fine. You don't have to get it, but you have to accept it.
Yeah.
So they have. So okay, there's the divines, the 9 divines, or the
The
8
9
divines, I
divines.
guess, as of Oblivion. The 8.5, and those are the gods, I guess, of the Elder Scrolls. But there are also other lesser gods, and there are also Daedra. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Daedra are like the dark gods, the demons, I guess, for lack of a better word. And you're going to
Demons,
be
you
dealing
say?
with a lot of Daedra in Oblivion, especially. The game
Can I
Oblivion
roll to
feels very
flirt?
heavily in. Um, Actually, I don't. You might be able to. The orcs have ties to the Daedra, I think, just like ancestor-wise, but I'm not sure which one. And they have like a patron deity, but I can't remember who it is. But they worship that patron deity. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So that's the orcs. And they look like a traditional orc in fantasy, right?
Okay.
Next, we have the Red Guard. Okay. Now, here's where things get a little dicey. And once again, this is me just being hobbyist. Oftentimes, the Red Guards are considered to be like of a darker skin color because they hail from um, southern
The
Tamriel.
South.
Yes, but there can be humans, elves, no matter what race you are, you can have different tone of skin throughout your race. And so the Red Guards, although they do typically tend to have a darker skin color and more melanin, they can be all shades, right? But the Red Guards, they're sort of mysterious. They're human, right? Because there are humans, elves, orcs, and anthropomorphic animals in the races here. But they didn't migrate to Tamriel. They hail from a lost continent, right? Off of the west. But in Tamriel, they come from Hammerfell, right?
Okay.
They're warriors. Let's see here. What else do I know about the Red Guards? They're pretty neutral, I guess, in the war between the Aldmeri Dominion and the Empire, which takes place all over the time. They're always fighting each other. But they tend to be pretty strong, and their racial buffs are pretty good. I like the Red Guard, although I don't play them very often. I'm usually in the Imperials. So that's them's. Let's see here. Let's talk about the Dunmer. So the Dunmer are the Dark Elves, right?
Yep.
That being said, so they started out as a normal type of elf, but they got cursed by a Daedric prince, and now they're Dark Elves. They worship Daedric princes more than the divines, and that often gives them a bad rap, right? And so a lot of fantasy racism is geared towards the Dark Elves, and also I think the Bretons get some fantasy racism as well, but we'll get into that. They tend to be better at magic, I think, than all the other races besides maybe Bretons. Let's see here. Their eyes are blood red, which is really cool. In Skyrim, they look really cool. In Oblivion, they look a little goofy, but I love it. My very first character I ever made was a Dunmer. She was bright blue and had very obnoxiously red hair because, as you will soon see, the saturation in Oblivion is just whack. But she was iconic. We still love her. And let's see here. Is there anything else I need to think about for the Dunmer? I don't think so. Oh, they come from Morrowind, which is the game that takes place immediately before Oblivion, I think. Yeah, Morrowind. Bretons are a hybrid of men and elves. They are short, they are magical, and they are mistrusted because they are powerful mages, right? But they're mortal mages, and so a lot of people don't trust them. Next we have the Bosmer, which are from Valenwood, which are the Wood Elves, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like a common elf. They are very in tune with nature. They're introspective, and they also have a pact with forest deities, so they're like really into nature. They also don't use plant life. They don't smoke, right? Because they respect nature.
Mm-hmm.
This one's going to be confusing, and I should have spent more time on it like I did the Khajiit. There are Argonians who are from the Black Marshes. Stay with me here.
Mm-hmm.
Giant bipedal lizards.
Giant bipedal lizards. Got it.
Yes, basically this franchise's version of the Dragonborn, right?
Okay.
Which don't not to be confused with the Dragonborn in Skyrim, who is the protagonist, who has nothing to do with being a lizard unless you happen to be an Argonian in your playthrough.
All right.
Anyway, they yeah. Oh, I hear the doo-doo-doo. There's the Altmer, who are the High Elves, who are the snobbity people that we don't like. Oop, I heard a boop boop boop. Let me
Dang
hop
it.
into
It
the thingy.
it didn't it didn't go.
It didn't catch. It didn't take.
Nope,
No.
it didn't.
Pardon me.
You are pardoned.
Oh, bless. Goodness. Thank Akatosh, which is one of the divines.
Nice.
I don't think I could rattle them all off the top of my head, but there's Akatosh, Mara, Talos. I'm trying to think of the one that's the vampire hunters, but I can't remember. We don't like the vampire hunters very much. Even though they're cool, they're just a little intense. And also, they come after my wife, Serana, and we cannot stand for that.
Rude. Also, who's
Very rude.
Serana?
Listen, I'm straight, but, comma. The biggest crime ever committed in Elder Scrolls history is the fact that Serana is not a romanceable character.
Are you telling me there's going to be a very attractive vampire lady that I can't romance?
In Skyrim, yeah, unfortunately.
Sag.
Let me find you a picture.
Please.
Yeah, so, yep, let's see here. Still scrolling. Doop-a-doop. Choosing from the best. So I have 2 video game characters who are my gay hall passes.
Uh-huh.
And that would be Serana and Karlach.
Karlach from Baldur's Gate?
Yep, she could break me in half and I would say thank you.
Ooh. That's bold coming from you. Are you saying that we might be rivaling each other when we do our playthrough?
Oh wait, are you going after Karlach?
I might be, depending. I don't know.
She's not my main. Astarion is my main.
I know Astarion's your main.
That beautiful boy. It's.
I was expecting.
I
was expecting us to both go for Astarion, but if there's a different one. Although,
listen.
To be fair, I'm mostly going to be focusing on gameplay and building a character that can fight a god.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever. They always say that in the beginning, and the next thing you know, you're having Shadow Wizard money sex with Gale and the ether and the stars. Let's see here.
It's true. Although I hear Gale is very hit or miss.
When I first got introduced to Baldur's Gate, I thought he was kind of a weirdo, but he's adorkable, and I like him. He's not like my ride or die. Astarion is my ride or die, but I understand it. I can see it. I can see why.
Yeah.
The only romanceable character that I don't understand, and this is purely for selfish reasons, is Halson, and it's because he looks like he could be related to me, and I can't do it. I can't do it.
That's funny.
Every time I see him on screen, I'm like, you look like you're my cousin. I can't do it. Oh Lord, I can't do it.
How loud?
Okay. I'm pippity popping into the Discord to send you a couple of pictures.
Please do.
Boop. Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, since I'm bearing my soul here, when it comes to Elder Scrolls baddies, Serana, Brynjolf, and Mercurio. Unfortunately, you cannot romance Serana or Brynjolf, but you can romance Mercurio, and that's as close as I can get to my tops. But there you go. Pictures of Serana in this trying time.
Show me. Oh. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just. Ooh.
Screenshot. You screenshotting.
No.
Sure. Right. Sure. Whatever.
Guys. But. Look at her. Don't even look at me. Look at her.
She's glorious.
She is beauty, she is grace. I don't know how long I can keep this without getting copyrighted, but...
And here's some Brynjolf for good measure. Also not romanceable, which is a total sin. And also I can't find good art of him. The second picture looks like that Robert Pattinson meme, where he's like standing in that weird sweatsuit in the kitchen.
Sorry. Refocusing.
Are you still staring at Honestly,
no.
I don't fault you for that. Don't fault you for that at all. She's incredible. And
Ooh.
Yep.
He does look
Tragic
like
goth girlfriend.
could be her cousin.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, if you take the hair color away, this is Brynjolf, not Halson.
I know, but
that is profiling. Not every single ginger is the same person, okay?
oh my god.
This is my problem. I've met so many beautiful and lovely ginger men. I've even been pursued by one or two. Can't do it. Can't do it. Tell me why two blondes can get married. Nobody bats an eye. Two people with black hair can get married. Nobody cares. But the second that two gingers are in a relationship, everybody starts playing Sweet Home Alabama. It's just not cool. No, the reason I can't with Halson and I can with Brynjolf is because Brynjolf doesn't look like anybody I know. Halson, 1,000%. Like, he's in my family tree. We're sharing a branch. Anyway, rant over. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm trying to figure this out, and it's telling me to hit a certain key, and I don't think I have that key on the keyboard I'm using right now.
What key?
It's the little squiggly do.
Oh.
Because I don't have a full-size keyboard. Well, I do, but it's not the one that's plugged in right now. Sits below the escape key. And just left of the one. Yeah, I don't have that. Is there an alternative? Or do I have to get out my other keyboard to play this game?
Keyboard squiggly line. I'd be Googling. I'm seeing that it's to the left of 1 under the escape.
Yeah, I don't have that key.
Are we gonna have to install a new keyboard for this?
I might have to dig out my other keyboard.
How far will you go to play Oblivion?
Pretty far, apparently. Console commands are a debugging tool available to PC players, adding a wide range of functionality to the game. So I guess the game crashing whenever you try to alt-tab is common.
Oh. Because why wouldn't it be?
Because why wouldn't it be?
For the people listening at home, just because I know you're so interested, I really think that if they ever make a movie about Skyrim, that first of all, the Nightingale quest would be a spectacular storyline to follow. And second of all, Sean Bean needs to play Brynjolf. Because I think that's just a good
Does
match.
he die?
No, he does not, which I know was very out of character for
That's
Sean Bean.
weird. Alright, so we might have to save Oblivion for another day when I can go dig my other keyboard out, get it all set up and plugged in.
Only the best for Oblivion.